breaking news right now. I just want to show you some Russian prisoners coming back to Russia here. This is all coming from the prisoner swap, historic in nature. And we were seeing President Putin there of Russia welcoming them back. We'll get some playback for you a little bit later here on Live Now from Fox. But again, that images just coming in raw right now. So we will, again, be bringing that to you a little bit later here, as always. All right, I do want to get to one of our other top stories that we are following, of course, and it is the Trump appearance that is continuing to be talked about from yesterday at the NABJ conference in Chicago. It got off to a rocky start, and it really just continued all the way through that about 35-minute remarks there, forum style for Donald Trump, but going after Kamala Harris and then questioning if she was a black woman. That got a lot of people talking so much, and really over social media as well. So I want to bring in our next guest of this hour to help break it all down from our friends over at Axios reporter Aaron Doherty. Thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. And what a 24 hours removed now from this moment. What is some of the reaction that is still coming in all about this?
Yeah, we're sort of seeing the same reaction. It's just kind of intensified over the last 24 hours. The Democrats who, seized on former President Trump's comments as sort of an indication that they are going to comment on Harris's race going forward as, the campaign heats up. They sort of have seized on these comments as a sign that former President Trump is sort of reverting to these kind of personal insults on the campaign trail. Harris has been, she acknowledged sort of the remarks last night at an appearance, but she did not actually directly quote the remarks or talk about former President Trump's name when mentioning them. But he sort of, she said that they kind of demonstrated, his old habits and that he is sort of pushing this, divisiveness and disrespect. And so I think the sort of going forward, the question is, given the pushback that former President Trump has gotten from some people, particularly as he sort of tries to court these, Black voters and voters of color who are crucial to, his coalition in November, does he sort of stop making these personal attacks, or does he kind of keep digging in? At this point, it seems that, he's not shying away from them.
No, it doesn't seem like he's shying away from it. In fact, today it almost looks like he's doubling and tripling down. This is what he put it on his Truth Social earlier this morning, saying, "Thank you, Kamala, for the nice picture you sent from many years ago. Your warmth, friendship, and love of your Indian heritage are very much appreciated." There, and then with that throwback photo of Harris and her family there. So seeing that, I mean, he is in his campaign doubling down on his remarks from yesterday.
Yeah, and so there had been questions when Harris emerged as the most likely Democratic presidential nominee, sort of how former President Trump was going to attack her. We've seen the Republican side attack Harris over immigration and other policy areas that they say she's flipped on since the 2020 presidential election. But there had been a question about, how many personal insults would former President Trump do against Harris on the campaign trail. We obviously know that in past elections, former President Trump, has used personal attacks against his political rivals, and he has, launched further conspiracies against his rivals. So, people sort of suspected he may revert to these tendencies. But the attack we saw last night is sort of the first direct personal insult against Harris that Trump has made. And I think you're totally right that in the 24 hours that have followed, we've seen, him double down, if anything.
And then lastly here, Aaron, it almost seemed like it was a 2015-esque, 2016-esque Donald Trump during this moment when he came on the stage here, because he was already annoyed about the timing of everything. There was a delay because of the audio issues, and he seemed really ruffled up, especially when that first questioning from the moderator.
Yeah, and so my colleagues at Axios have actually reported that, his performance last night or yesterday evening at the convention sort of raised questions about, how he was going to sort of fare on this campaign show over the next several weeks. And, was he going to revert to some of these tendencies that are, it's very possible that they alienate Black voters who, again, former President Trump and the Republican Party has been working to court in recent months ahead of November. But the big question is sort of how will they respond to this kind of rhetoric that former President Trump displayed last night?
That's so true. We'll wait and see what the weeks to come here for both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump come into the summer months as well. Well, Aaron, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We really appreciate it. Always your insight. Thanks so much, and you take care.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.